All right, here we go. We're live. Hey, I hope yesterday was awesome. We had some technical glitches. Hope you made it through all right. Hope tomorrow's even better. We're going to talk about how to win today. We've been together a few days. You have good weeks, a few months. You have good years. You have a great career. That's kind of the thought process behind this. So thank you all for being on here. If anybody's watching wherever you are, thank you for watching wherever you are or participating. If you have any questions about your career, your current state of whatever, let me know. I'd be more than happy to address them. I do a lot of them in my head and with my group, to be honest. Hold on. I'm typing. This is really good video, I'm sure, but okay, watch this. I'm now posting. You want to see some magic? Oh God.
Oh wow.
I did it wrong. Did it show up? No, that's the setup. All right, let's try again. Go ahead without me.
Work amongst yourselves.
Yeah, sorry.
So he's after it. It's always hard. Interestingly enough, there are people that talk about multitasking, and that is a fable. It doesn't.
That is not true. I just proved it. All right, but watch.
Women a little bit.
Here's the magic. Ready? 3, 2, 1. What? There it is. Okay, cool. So let's talk about it. Here's what I want to talk about. We started on it yesterday a little bit. Now, the market's been hard for a while. Let's just be honest, right? It's been tough. It's a challenge. Okay, good. And what happens in hard times, even to the most optimistic, they just, right? You start to get worn down. And then you start to tell yourself, because I've gone through it, I don't know it's almost like the thing of grief. Maybe I should write a book about this. Is this better? Oh my.
There we go.
All right. So here's where it starts. You're confident. All right. I'll get through this. This is a short-term storm. We'll get through it. All of a sudden it goes longer than you expected. Okay. It's a storm. Let's ride it out. Let's build up some moats. Let's ride out. We're going to be fine. And the storm goes on a little bit longer. You start to think, holy cow, right? Maybe this is the new normal. This is what we have now. And your confidence is eroding with every stage of this. And then you get to a point where you say, oh, okay, well, I guess the market's going to dictate what I have. I guess my boss, my friends, my whatever are all going to dictate who I'm going to be and what my life's going to be about. I guess I'll get in line and let's just deal. All right. Now, you can work it that way if you want. I'm saying, no, it's your life. It's your career. You should go out and be the boss of you. Okay. You can listen to the market. You can watch the market, interpret the market. You can listen, watch, interpret what your boss, coworkers, friends, whomever say. But this is your world. This is your life, your career. You are driving it. Do not let anyone else tell you what you're going to do in any way, shape, or form, unless it's to assist you in going bigger and bigger and bigger. Okay. And here's what I would tell you on that. Go big. Mm-hmm. Go big. Your goal for your life, your career, your everything should be so big, it makes you a little bit nervous. It makes you like, oh, what am I doing here? Right? It should make you scared. It should make you incredibly excited. And it should freak the frick out of everybody around you. All right? Go big. Go big. And then figure out how to do it. There is no one plan. Well, first you're going to do this, and then you're going to do that, and then after that, you're going to do this and this and this. No. What you're going to do is start working it. Start your plan. Create a little bit of a plan for the next step. Always knowing that you're going to put people on Mars. If that's your thing, right? Does that make sense? So I think especially in this time, because I was running into it, I found myself falling back into, all right, let's weather the storms, let's just grind, weather the storm. F that. Now the time is to take it to the market, okay? Because the market's getting ready to shift, whether it's going to be in the next 6 months or the 6 months after that. At some point in the next 12 months, there is going to be a significant shift in this market. You're either going to get washed over or you're going to ride that freaking wave. And I would recommend that you ride that wave. So start taking it to the market. What does that look like? I've been talking about show up, make your contacts, preview the properties, study the market. All yes, yes, yes. But now your expectation cannot be, all right, well, let's get 20 contacts. Awesome. But you got to move from contacts to appointments.
Mhm.
All right. Contacts without appointments are just a bunch of conversations. Okay. You got to get the appointments. And the way you're going to get those appointments is you got to get very intentional with your scripts. Don't read some of the script. Don't read none of the script. Read all of the script. Understand why you're reading the script and what that script's trying to pull you to. This is getting very intentional. It's no longer good enough to have context and have some conversation. This is about appointments. The way you're going to get appointments is by going deep into your conversations. Okay. And taking it to the market is this: figuring out what neighborhoods you want to dominate. Just absolutely freaking crush. Be the expert in that neighborhood. You're going to have to go to every property, every single property you can get into, open house, preview the listings, whatever it takes. Because where this world is going to, and I started doing it yesterday on AI, trying to figure out the age of a building. I was having a hell of a time trying to find it through the property appraiser site. I just went on AI. Hey, how old's this building? And it came up with a paragraph or two about the building, some background of it, who built it, how, all this stuff. And it did it in seconds. All right. And so now I knew how old the building was, how many stories, all the floor plan, all that stuff. Right. But I didn't know what the vibe was. I didn't know if the traffic coming into or out of it was weird. I didn't know if the parking lot was too big or too small, if the pool was on the beach side or the parking lot side. I didn't know if they'd been smoking inside the units or not. You could still smell them, or had animals. I didn't know any of that stuff. That's the stuff you know when you preview property, right? And here's the thing. Most aren't going to preview. They're going to punch it up on their computer. They're going to do AI, and they're not going to know that stuff. Don't compete with those lazy people. Be the best one. Let those people compete with you and wish they had taken the time and energy that you already put in, that you've invested to know these properties. It's going to pay off. Your confidence is going to be higher than anyone else. The confidence in your clients and you are going to be higher than anyone else. And you will get the listing, you will get your price, and you will get your commission. It's just the way it is. You got to study the market like you're a buyer, right? I'm going to buy a house in this neighborhood. What do I want to know? What would I need? So you can be the pro. Do not let the market come to you. It's now time to stick your flag in the ground and say, that's it. From here on forward, I'm going to dictate what happens. Julie had a shitty year last year. Sorry, Julie, you did. And I just saw something on Facebook that said Julie's number 2 in the region or whatever for sales this year. I asked her why. She said, well, what'd you say, Julie?
I had a really bad year last year. And sometimes when things are rough, then you work even harder.
You decided this year's not going to be like last year, right?
Yeah. So it was.
Your flag in the ground said, F this.
It was so bad. And I was.
How bad was it?
I was making way less than my life cost.
Yeah.
And when you're digging into your savings and your investments and depleting everything, and I hate to say it, but sometimes you get scared. So
it's
you
a
look
pretty
at
sobering event, right?
Yeah, and you're like, okay, what do I control? And that's where I came to, okay, you got to get face to face. And I just dominated my neighborhood and was doing open houses multiple times a week. And I knew everything about every house, about the neighborhood. And then when people would come in and talk to me, they knew that I knew everything. So, I would get listings where they were planning to use their previous realtor, and they would use me because I had more knowledge.
It's pretty impressive when you do run into somebody who knows what they're doing. You can just feel it. It's coming off them.
And that's just it. You know it, and you have the confidence, and you don't go into listing appointments with this fearful, oh, I hope they don't ask me to reduce my commission. You actually go in there with this mindset of, here's what I'm worth and here's what, I'll accept. And you will accept less sometimes when you're desperate. But I broke up the conversation for compensation to when they would say, will you take X? I'd say, well, you can pay me this, but what do you want to pay the buyer's agent? and I might reduce mine from 3 to 2% and say, I'm willing to take 2%. Are you comfortable with that? Yes. Okay, now let's talk about what you want to pay the buyer's agent based on what the competition is and what your, and then it's a whole different conversation versus the, trying to defend your position. It's like, this is what I'll take. I don't care. They'd say so-and-so will take less. I'm like, that's fine. They can do that. I won't.
Nice.
And still everyone would hire me. So yeah, I was too.
The way you get to that point, though, is confidence, knowing what you know, knowing
Yeah.
that you know more than everyone else. I tell you
And I
what,
was
guys.
surprised. This title company reached out to me and said, hey, we noticed you're in the top 2% of all agents in Arizona. And here are your numbers. I went, wow, I guess I'm doing better than I thought.
Nice.
But I
Nice.
attribute it to face-to-face, and just what you're talking about is figure out what you can control. And like you said, right now you need to make contacts. Is it over the phone? Is it face-to-face? Is it, appointments? Is it whatever? Knocking doors? What can you control? And then you go after it and you do it.
Love it. Love it. Destiny, I'm curious about you because you're newish in this.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know, but yet you're out there
Mm-hmm.
punching the market. The market's not coming to you. Is that fair to say?
That's very fair.
Yeah. Most agents, new agents, let things roll to them.
Right.
And they adjust or whatever accordingly.
Mm-mm.
I haven't known you forever, but I have known you for the better part of your career.
Mm-hmm.
And my impression is you're executing some sort of a strategy. The world's not come to you. Look out, world, here comes Destiny. Is that fair to say?
It's very fair to say. I want to knock down all the doors.
Okay. Right. And Mark, you're coaching her, right? Would
Yeah.
you agree with what that assessment is?
Yeah, so many agents are in a passive mode, and as we've heard, hope is not a strategy. Hoping something will fall in their lap, and that's the one thing Destiny has been faithful to do is just hop on the phone, call, find out who is willing to sell at this time, and really it's been more of a blue ocean strategy, and just asking enough people, if the price were right and the numbers made sense, would you consider selling at this time?
Destiny, do you believe that there is business out there? Is that in your
Oh,
heart?
for sure. I've got 4 closings this month, so there's definitely business there. You just have to go get it. It's not going to fall in your lap. And I think new agents a lot of times think, oh, I'll get my license and sell a house. And it's work.
It's work. But if you do the work, there is a payoff. Don't.
For sure.
I've been letting a lot of people, including myself, slide with just do the work, circle the wagons. Let's just hang in there until it's your time. No more. That time has passed. It's what I'm saying now is we're going to put the flag in the ground, and we are not waiting for anything to come to us. We are going to the market.
I think to piggyback on everything is you've got to be coachable though. You can't wing it. Even with the script, you can't wing it and make it your own. You've got to follow the script. You've got to be coachable and listen to those people who have been doing it for a while and just do it, and that's what's worked for me.
Love it.
Because I thought sometimes it's tonality. Sometimes it's, when you're working a script, if you're saying, if the numbers made sense, or if the numbers made sense, it's about being fierce and going after it with confidence as well.
So
being willing to adjust those things.
I was talking to my people yesterday, and they're new, the ones I was talking to anyway. All right. And they're doing this. They're doing the script, and they're trying to make it their own. Like, pause. I love you. Make it your own by reading it the way you want to read it, but follow the words. Second, y'all got to go. They're trying to get things done without previewing. So they're making a just listed, just sold call about a property that we've listed, and they haven't previewed the freaking property. They haven't done the research on the property. So what they're giving is a very superficial interpretation of that listing. I'm like, dang it, guys, get out there, go there. I want you to feel what the place is like. I want you to get what is there to be gotten about the property. I want you to recognize the stuff that ain't so great about it. I want you to be able to talk from your soul about the property, because people pick up on that.
People totally pick up on it.
Mm-hmm.
And they appreciate when you say, I don't know, when you don't know something, they're perfectly comfortable with that answer. but you have to have more knowledge than them, and you can't be BSing them. And when they recognize that you have the same level or less knowledge than they do, because they're in the market looking.
Yeah, you lose. AI is their friend, right? Not yours.
Well, and if they're looking in a particular area, a particular building.
Yeah, they may have been in a house you didn't even go to.
Exactly. They have some knowledge. And if you start to BS and they recognize that, you lose 100% of your
You
credit.
lose.
Now you're at less than zero.
I'm telling you guys, get out there. I was just in that house. I've been in all these houses. And what I liked about that one, or what I didn't like about that, or what you're going to love about this one is this, and this, right? Andrew, what are you seeing from your people?
Well, I think new agents are struggling. I got a question for you. If I was to drop you off at another city, anywhere in the nation that you had no contacts, what's the first thing you do to pick up a listing?
Cool. I'll answer and let's see what you guys answer. First thing I would do, I'd jump, excuse me, in the MLS, and I would look for houses that are priced probably around $1 million, maybe a little higher, maybe a little less. And then I'd go to those neighborhoods that those houses are, and I'd see how many transactions there are to make sure there's enough transactions that I could go in and get business. And then I'd look to see, is there one dominant realtor that's taken 80% of the business and I'm going to have a hard time breaking in? And I'd find the neighborhoods where there's $1 million properties that they're selling 25 houses a year at least, and there's no dominant player. Then you'll get the owner of every house in that neighborhood. I put them into a data, well, I won't call it database. I put them into a list. And then I'd reach out to them. I'd knock on their door. I'd call them on the phone. I'd do whatever I had to find out how to have a conversation with them. And I'd ask them about their property. I'd learn about why they own it. If they ever did move, where would they go next? Why did they buy? All those things. And I'd start building a database of who I am. I would start doing open houses. I'd call to every listing and ask, hey, you want me to do an open house for you? I'd be happy to do it. You know, then I'd door knock around my open houses. I'd introduce myself to the neighbors. Come on in. I'd find a vendor that's going to go in on it with me. And I put up signs for, I don't know, win a $100 gift card. Come in here for $100. Whatever. And I'd do that 3 days a week, as many until they kick me out, until I got my own listing.
But you got a plan.
Yeah. I guarantee you within 90 days, I would dominate and I'd have cash flow. And within 12 months, it'd be game on.
Duplicatable.
Oh, easy. Anywhere. And you know how much money that costs? Zero. Costs you some time. You guys differ in any of that?
I agree with it, because here's the thing. And again, you know, figure out a neighborhood that has turnover, a price range that you want to, and depends on what market you're in. I know some markets don't have a lot of $1 million, you know.
Then go the 500, whatever the higher end.
Yeah. So
I wouldn't go the top end because the top end's pretty pointy.
Yeah, but your whatever your market is, whatever the little bit higher, but not the very top. That's not too far from where you live, where you can be there a lot, because you want to be there door knocking, doing open houses. And when you do open houses, a lot of people don't think about this. Get all of your signs, where this is the one cost that you have when you're brand new in a market, is your brand. So your face and your name and your phone number on your open house signs, and get 20 of them made. And every time you do an open house, doesn't matter if you're right off the main road, you don't put out one sign right off the main road or 2 or 3. You put out 20, because those are your billboards. And if you're doing that 2 days, 3 days a week, week after week, suddenly people recognize you. And whether you've been there for a month.
You want code enforcement to knock on your door and say, what's going on here?
Or they take your signs, and then you figure out what the rules are and how to not get them taken. But that's how you get everybody to recognize you really fast. Yeah. And then you get face to face with everyone. And one of the things I do is I don't let people come into my open house without signing in. Now with the buyer broker agreements, everyone will be able to do that. And I don't ask them to sign in. I tell them I have a script that I use, but that I do the same thing, John. And choose a farm that does not have a dominant realtor, like you said. Don't try to go after the one where someone has even 50 to 60% of the listings. If they already have a head start. Start somewhere else.
And there's going to be plenty. I promise there'll be plenty.
You know,
the agent. Answered, Andrew?
Sorry?
Is that an answer?
Yes.
Mike, you were going to say something?
Yeah, I some of these agents have stars in their eyes of $1 million listings and everything, and what I tell them is you'll get fat and happy eating rabbit stew, but if you'll starve hunting elephants. And many will go after those unicorn, trying to hit the grand slam on the first one. Find the turnover, find that place where you can get in there and go. But it's like the thing is, don't be the most interesting person, be the most interested. Go in there and ask questions, get to know them, which means you're asking the questions, and you'll end up being very interesting if you're the most interested.
For sure. All right, so Destiny, you got anything else to add on that?
No, I think, to kind of piggyback off those $1 million listings, Paulie said something that stuck with me. You've got to earn that. Even for me, as much as I would love to take one of those listings, and I wouldn't turn it down if it came my way, but that's a different culture. That's a different mindset. And you've got to learn that. You've got to learn those people. You've got to learn that environment. And I think that takes time. So working towards that is the goal. I'm fine with doing the listings that I'm taking now and working my way up to that.
You want me to say something about that?
I would love to.
I don't buy that for a single minute.
Okay.
I think if you want to go big, you can start big.
Mm-hmm.
Don't talk yourself into it's different. They're not different. They're the same as you and me. You know how I know? There was recently a presidential debate that devolved into golf scores. These are the highest positions in the world. This is the highest position in the world. These two old dudes with some accomplishment are going for. And they started talking about their golf scores, for Pete's sake. People are people, regardless of where they fall on the spectrum.
I was thinking the same thing, John.
Yeah.
Don't diminish yourself, Destiny. It's about knowledge of the neighborhood. It's about knowledge of their competitors. Even if there are 5 homes for sale that are their true competitors, if you put yourself in the shoes of the buyer, and those homes inside and out, and go in MLS and study the stats, and then go and walk the neighborhood. If you have knowledge, doesn't matter what the price point is.
Yeah. You might have to work a little harder, whatever, I don't know. But Courtney came on our team all those years ago, 20 years old, hasn't sold anything, hadn't owned anything, living with her dad, and she was selling $1 million houses. That's all she knew. She didn't know there was less. And she did all right. So just be careful is my point. Don't sell yourself.
In our market, the $1 million properties are the middle range. I do think that for a brand new agent to try and go after the $5, $6 million, $10 million homes, that's where you talk about the pointy. They can do it. They've just got to have the runway to, but when the payday's there, the payday's there.
And truthfully, it is harder to preview when you get into the higher.
Yes, there's no doubt.
Because, we don't let people in as listing agents if they don't have a qualified buyer.
Keep in mind, though, you guys, the higher end, the more expensive it gets, the fewer there are. There's just not enough. And if you're hunting elephants, that's true. You're going to get 1 or 2. I'm saying don't hunt elephants. Go hunt smaller, bigger game, where there's more of them.
Well, I'll tell you, there's a young man named Will Van Winkler up in the state of Maine, or Wickler. And that young man said, I'm going to target 750,000 to $1 million properties. He did the golden letter, did it consistently, and 21 years old, earning over $1 million just by being very consistent, having a plan, and looking at how to tap into that market. And so that's solid.
Yep. Okay. Let's end this. We're getting along in the tooth here. Here's what I'm going to tell you. You're going to win, how to win the day. Do not let the world dictate who and what you're going to be. No, we're going to plant a flag today. Now, we said it. You're going to plant a flag. There's no more weathering any storms. We're taking it to the storm. Plant your flag in the ground. Create a plan to go at the market. All right? Make your contacts, but expect appointments. It's no longer good enough to expect contacts. Expect appointments. Pre-qualify every single freaking time, 100%. Underline, highlight, bold, whatever you got to. Every time. Do not leave your office without a 99.9% expectation that they're going to list and list with you, or they're going to buy and use you to buy. Do not. You're going to lose some business, but you're going to save yourself a ton of heartache, and you're going to set yourself up for way more business than running around with a bunch of yahoos. Okay. Treat yourself like a pro. Go after the biggest thing you can imagine. Write it down. Spend a day or two with the biggest thing you can imagine, and then go back to it and see if you can imagine something even bigger. I bet you can. And then go for that. Okay. But today, let's go to work. Win the day. We'll see y'all tomorrow. All right.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
guys.
Bye.
Take care.